Oklahoma voters approved the legalization of medical marijuana by a 57% majority. The law presents an all-new challenge in the workplace, balancing the rights of employees who possess a valid medical marijuana license with the needs of employers to maintain a safe, drug-free environment.
Nobody is talking about the employment side of this statute. We have the Department of Health focusing on licensing procedures, on physicians, on the standard used to evaluate a physician's conduct, but nobody's really talking about the impact of this statute on employers.
Well, and the other complicating factor for employers is, unlike alcohol, there is no recognized test that says a certain reading equates to me being impaired. The impairment, which may become one of our most important issues in weapons, is still going to be a little bit complicated.
Oklahoma took its second major step into the field of medical marijuana as Governor Kevin Stitt signed into law the so-called Unity Bill. While the law affects the industry in numerous ways, a few key provisions impact all Oklahoma employers directly.
Thanks, Brad, and good morning, Paul and Kirk. How are you guys?
Doing well, Charlie.
Great, Charlie. Thanks.
Well, a number of things have happened since our last medical marijuana webinar. For 9 months, we've been working with Oklahoma employers when they have grappled with medical marijuana issues. We've also been talking with employers and attorneys in other states that permit medical marijuana use to see what is working and not working for them in their states. And in the meantime, Oklahoma has passed revisions to its medical marijuana law that are going to affect employers. So our webinar today is intended to bring Oklahoma employers up to speed on what we've learned during the last 9 months, and also to make some recommended changes or steps that our employers can take now with the new law and our own experiences. So I think as a starting point, it'll be helpful if we understand how Oklahoma's medical marijuana laws have developed. And it started last year with the State Question 788 that went into effect in July of 2018. And keep in mind that first medical marijuana law was a product of an initiative petition. And because it was an initiative petition, 788 was really drafted by medical marijuana proponents in the cannabis industries. And there were some gaps, particularly when it came to employment issues. So the new law I was talking about, the Oklahoma Medical Marijuana and Patient Protection Act, that was signed by the governor in March 14, 2019, and it was intended to address some of the issues that 788 had not covered. It was put together by a working group comprised of employers, medical marijuana proponents, and the business community, and again, intended to address some of those gaps we've been struggling with in the last 9 months. Now, while much of that law, that new law that's going to go into effect late August or early September, depending on when the legislature adjourns, much of that law does talk about commercial growing, commercial processing, and commercial sales, but it does put in place some new provisions that are going to be helpful for you in dealing with workplace marijuana issues. So that's very important. Let's cover some basics that are still in place. We still have in place the Oklahoma Medical Marijuana Authority, and that authority is the body that continues to be responsible for issuing medical marijuana licenses to individuals and to your employees. And the licensing requirements haven't really changed under the new law. The rights we're going to talk about are premised upon your employee having a valid Oklahoma-issued medical marijuana license. They don't have any of these protections if they don't have a license. The application fee of $100 is unchanged. The license life of 2 years is unchanged. 18 years or older to get a license. But if you are a minor and need medical marijuana, if a guardian or a physician sign off, you can get it. And again, you must be an Oklahoma resident to apply for that. These are all unchanged. We do have a mechanism for temporary licenses for non-residents. Also unchanged is the need to get a physician's recommendation on medical marijuana.
Yeah, Charlie, I just want to mention there have been about 86,000 licenses that have been granted by the Oklahoma Medical Marijuana Authority in the last year.
And compared to other states, That is a high rate. So you can expect as an employer, as time goes by, as Kirk points out, there's a lot out there and that number is growing.